Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system. And frankly, screw that. Sick of it. And it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked with the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Bree, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working at a home care practice, and she also rounds in assisted living facilities. She's wanting to start her own practice where she will focus on metabolic care and diabetes management. She's needing help with marketing, which services to implement first, and which patients to target. Hey, Bree, how are you?
Hey, Justin, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for hopping on here. All right, so tell us about yourself. You kind of tell me a really interesting story before we hop on. I had to cut you off. So,
Yes. Okay.
yeah, tell us about yourself and kind of, what you've been up to.
Cool. All right. So, I'm in New Jersey. I've been a nurse since 2012. Became a family nurse practitioner in 2018. I was navigating, trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So I initially started out in pain management. I did a little bit of internal medicine, and then my main focus has been in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and some SNFs. So currently I work for a primary care practice where I do some telehealth. I round in assisted living facilities, and we also do in-home visits. So I'm trying to figure out exactly. I know I definitely always wanted to do my own thing, but trying to figure out what type of practice I wanted to open. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I kind of need some assistance with trying to figure out what services to implement, how to market, and what patient population should I target first.
Gotcha. Okay. So, have you pretty much just only done this home care assisted living facility stuff as an NP?
Um, Besides working, I did mobile vascular for a little bit. I wanted to try them out because I did not want to stick with primary care because it's just a beast. I wanted to navigate into some type of specialty. So that's why I started with pain management, and then I did a little bit of internal medicine. Then I did vascular, and then now I'm doing primary care. So working as a nurse practitioner, those kind of the fields that I worked in.
Gotcha. Okay. So before we hopped on, you were kind of going into a story about how you started a men's health clinic or something. It was an utter disaster. So tell us about that.
Oh, do it. So I took your men's health and the telehealth courses. I want to say maybe like 3 years ago. So I was like, okay, what type of service can I do to where as though it's not really saturated and it can be well needed? So I was like, okay, how about men's health? Women, we have OBGYN, so we have like that special place that we can go to. A lot of men don't have anything. So I was like, okay, let's do men's health. So I did, I want to say in 2023, I did your courses. And then I kind of was playing around with it a little bit. And then I ended up losing my dad suddenly. He was sick. He had heart failure, COPD, and nobody knew how sick he was because he really wasn't going to the doctors until it was too late. So then once he passed, I was like, okay, this is my cue to just go full force. So I started it, right? So I started the marketing and stuff like that. And then I got hacked. So I got hacked on social media. They hacked my Facebook account. They was running ads on my account. It was just like a whole disaster. I could not get back in. I was mortified. Sorry to curse, but it's like I was trying to contact Meta. Nobody would respond. It was like a complete disaster. So I kind of felt defeated because I'm like, okay, I put all of this money into marketing, trying to, get the patients to schedule appointments. I didn't get not one appointment. It was just a mess. I was just throwing out money nonstop, nonstop. So I was like, okay, let me sit back to see what I'm doing wrong. And then to make matters worse, they opened up three men's health practices like within a 10-minute radius from where I'm at. So I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. I'm really fighting and going up against the big guys. So it's over. So I was like, okay, let me just pause just to figure out if I really want to do men's health. So I kind of took a break for like the last 2 years or so. And I'm like, okay, I need something else to where it's though I can involve men and women, something that's going to be needed, that's always going to be around, some type of specialty. So that's when I came up with like doing like diabetes and rounding in the facilities. You got like podiatry coming there, you got vascular that come, wound care that come, but you don't have anybody that come to do diabetes in the facilities. So I was like, okay, maybe that could be a niche that I can focus on. And then I was like, okay, how about like busy professionals and entrepreneurs and providers who don't really have time to go to like doctor's offices, but they also need diabetes care as well. So I'm kind of in between those two populations with providing facility focused primary care as well as primary care to like the busy professionals, the entrepreneurs, the truck drivers, and stuff like that who has a busy schedule. Some own businesses, don't have insurance, but still need healthcare.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, the men's health thing. Yeah, it was a disaster. Sounded like a disaster. Yeah.
It was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. And if someone hacks your account with Meta or LinkedIn or any of these social media platforms, and they get into
Hmm.
your business profile, your ad account, or whatever, good any kind of
They
tech.
took over my ad account and I saw them posting ads with like a skull. It was like around Halloween time. So they was posting like skull and Halloween costumes under my business profile, my name. It was a mess. I had to cancel like all my credit cards, close that account out. It was like a whole mess. Meta, I couldn't get no assistance. It was a disaster. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I can't. I'm already not social media savvy. I never had a social media before. Never had MySpace, Facebook, nothing. I was so brand new to social media when I first opened up, literally first social media account ever, 2024.
Yeah.
So going into it as an infant and then getting hacked on top of that, it's just I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. I can't do it no more. I'm done. So yeah, so that's kind of where I was. And another reason why I wanted to focus on like more in the facility type of patients because I know they don't have anything to do with social media because I'm already in these facilities. I have good relationships with vascular wound care, and I know a lot of diabetic patients eventually see vascular for PVD, wound care for diabetic ulcers, podiatry, and stuff like that. So I'm good with getting referrals that way. But when it comes to doing the telehealth portion, I got to go back to social media, which I'm kind of afraid. So that's kind of where I need your guidance to see should I go forward with that, just targeting the busy entrepreneurs and the professionals with doing cash-based telehealth diabetes, or should I just focus on doing and implementing a diabetic program in the facilities?
Yeah. Well, don't let that one experience be a bad taste. I mean, it's obviously a bad taste in your mouth, but don't let it completely shut you down in terms of like I'm never gonna get on, I'll never advertise on social media again. What happened to you, it's very rare. That doesn't happen very often. I mean, that's never happened to me. It just
It
hasn't.
just
I don't know
happened.
anyone. I mean, I know people whose accounts have been hacked, but
Hmm.
but I've never heard of anyone's ad account being used essentially. So,
Hmm.
just be aware that that's pretty rare what happened.
Okay.
Because I mean, social media is pretty powerful in terms of advertising goes. For the business that you're wanting to do, probably doesn't really matter that much right now, but I'm just saying, I mean, you're still pretty young, so like, 10 years down the road or something, you might start another business where you're gonna, where you're gonna need to advertise on social media as an example. So,
Okay.
anyway, just be aware of that, okay? But yeah,
Okay.
getting technical support for any of these social media platforms it's practically impossible.
Okay.
Now let's talk about your business ideas. So,
Mhm.
okay, diabetes management is going to require you to probably take insurance. It's just going
Yes.
to. Yeah, I just don't think a lot of people are going to pay cash for that.
Yeah, I started that process. I've been kind of going through a lot of companies where I've been interviewing, credentialing, and billing companies, just kind of seeing what services they offer. So I was doing that whole process all last week. So I kind of have a few companies in mind. I'm just waiting to finalize my malpractice insurance, which that's another thing that I was looking into as well. So that's kind of the hold up with credentialing. It's the last piece I have to do is get my malpractice insurance, and then I'll pick the credentialing company and then start getting credentialed.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Um, One tip for you to malpractice: don't waste your money on it until 2 weeks before you go live. Okay.
So the thing of it is with the credentialing companies, they require for you to have your malpractice policy already before they can start credentialing. I don't know why, because I'm not seeing patients yet, but that's one of their requirements on the checklist is for you to provide like the declaration page for the practice to let them know that you are a real practice and you're covered before they even start, especially Medicare. Medicare and Medicaid requires the malpractice policy. So I have to get it no matter what before I even start the process.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you had a cash based practice, just only a cash based practice, just do the malpractice literally a week or two before you open up. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
in this case, yeah, if the insurance companies require it, then I mean, shit, what do you do?
Mhm.
Now, okay, so go ahead and go ahead and start the credentialing process. That's your number one task here. Okay, if
Mhm.
you're going to need to accept insurance. You just have to with something like this. And if you're going to be
Yes.
going rounding in assisted living facilities, you definitely need to be accepting insurance, no question about it, right? So
Mhm.
you're already in the assisted living facilities. You already understand the process. You can get
Mhm.
in there. You should be able to talk to people that begin getting
Mhm.
referrals for diabetes treatment or even some primary care or whatever in here. That should be pretty easy for you to do to leverage the connections and the networks that you've already developed. So I would say, leverage that as much as you possibly can. Um,
Okay.
in terms of the cash base aspect of it, I want to talk about that real quick. Now,
Okay.
I don't know how many people would actually pay cash for like a concierge diabetes thing, even
Mhm.
wealthy business owners and stuff. I don't know how many of them would be willing to pay for that. So
Okay.
yeah, um,
How about thyroid optimization? Because I did see, I do some thyroid management as well. Like I'm very, very, very comfortable with diabetes, thyroid, all of that, because I do that on an everyday basis. So, do you think that would be a program that I can implement? And do you think it would be cash based or insurance as well?
well, you specialize in thyroid care, yeah, and you probably charge cash for that, but you got to be really good. I mean, I'm talking about yeah, you're seeing these patients thinking way outside the box here.
Yeah.
You know,
I was going to take your thyroid course as well.
yeah,
I
yeah. I mean,
took
that would
like
definitely help.
5 of your courses already.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like subclinical hypothyroidism, using thyroid
Mhm.
hormone to treat depression, anxiety. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that thyroid's good for. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to open up like a thyroid only kind of thing, then yeah, that might work a little bit better. But um, I just don't know how well. Like, I just don't know how well it's going to do. You want to do this telemed?
I was going to do both. So I was going to do a mixture of telemedicine to kind of capture like the entrepreneurs, the busy professionals who don't have time to go into a doctor's office. And then I also was going to go into the facility. So it was going to make it more like a hybrid telehealth in person facilities kind of business.
So I think this is the way I would structure this. I would go
Okay.
ahead, build your business, get it credentialed, do the insurance thing. Okay.
Okay.
Mostly for the assisted living facility stuff, nursing homes,
Mhm.
whatever. Okay. You know that stuff, leverage what you know, don't reinvent the wheel here. Go in there, offer primary care, diabetes management, whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing, whatever you think is needed. Okay. Whatever you think is going to be in demand.
Okay.
Um, just do that. You know that stuff. I don't really want to talk much about that because you
Mhm.
seem to know, like, you're in there already. Like, you
Mhm.
talk to managers, you talk to doctors in there, you talk to, I mean, you should be able to get a pretty decent patient base fairly quickly,
Mhm.
I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have a and I have good relationships with like the director of nurses, and I already have one assistant director of nursing. Like, Bree, when are you starting your practice so I can bring you in? So I already have like a facility on standby. I just
Okay.
know the insurance part is going to take a while, so I didn't know whether if I should either waste my time and money with marketing for cash based prices via telehealth or just wait.
I don't think I would. Now, but okay, well, let's talk about the cash. Let's talk about the cash practice here. The
Okay.
insurance practice, you talk to the directors of nursing, you talk to these people, the managers, you know who to talk to, you understand that. You have any questions about that part of the business before we move on to the cash?
No.
I want to try to keep this segmented.
Nope.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
good with that part.
Okay. All right. Good. You got that going. You're doing it. Fantastic. I will
Mm-hmm.
leave you with this in terms of that goes. I think it will probably do well. I think you'll make some
Okay.
decent money doing it. I think you'll be able to replace your salary fairly quickly. You do have to deal with all the insurance headaches. You have to deal with charting. You have to deal with billing. You do. I mean, you got to. I mean, it's not a free lunch by any stretch of the imagination, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think you'll probably make a decent living doing that alone, probably,
Okay.
especially as you get more contracts with more assisted living facilities, you begin reaching out to more, expanding your territory. You get good at this. You get contracts, you get more contracts with more facilities, expand out, and I'd say fairly quickly if you're good at outreach and selling yourself to these facilities, then you'll get contracts fairly quickly. And I think that in a very short amount of time, you're probably going to need to hire maybe another, like a part-time NP or something to begin seeing patients for you
Okay.
as you expand. So this business, okay, just if you wanted to just leave it at the insurance, assisted living facility, primary care, diabetes care, if you want to leave it at just that, that's a very scalable business. Okay. So just going to leave you with that in terms of that
Okay.
goes. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, we can do another, like, let's say a year from now, it's doing very, very well. We can do another episode and talk to you and talk about the scaling component of it then. Okay. You guys just gotta get this started. There's no point talking about all that right now. Like, um, okay, the cash base aspect of it. So let's talk about this because it sounds like you're interested in doing it. Now, you can do this out of this practice. I don't see a problem with that. All right. Because, well, the, the one issue is going to be being credentialed, right? The business that you're going to be operating the assisted living facility clinic out of um, is going to be credentialed with Medicare, Medicaid, maybe some private insurance, right?
Mhm.
And United Health, blah, blah, blah. Um, so the issue is that if you begin seeing cash patients and they have that insurance, what you're doing is considered a covered service. You're supposed to charge insurance for that. Okay.
Mhm.
So you will need to see patients who do not have that insurance. More than likely, if you're seeing cash-based practice or cash-based patients, probably they're not going to have Medicare or Medicaid. So you don't really have to worry about it that much. All right. Even if they have private insurance and you're credentialed with them, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. So anyways, just kind of keep that in mind. So most of the patients in the cash-based arm of your practice will probably be, will probably have, really need to be under the age of 65 without Medicare, Medicaid, but that
Yeah.
shouldn't be much of a problem for you. Now, uh, who are you going to see and who are you going to target and what service you're going to offer? I mean, basically, we're starting this from scratch.
Mhm.
What's in demand? What's needed? What can do well in your area? Doing it telemed only is difficult unless you have a lot of money to spend on advertising and you happen to be in an area that is in need of whatever service that you're providing and you're easily found. Okay. The thing
Okay.
about a practice, no matter what kind of practice it is, all right, and most businesses in general, not all businesses, but most, is that you always need to extract the warm lead as efficiently as possible. You got
Okay.
cold leads, you got warm leads, you got hot leads. The hot lead is ready to book. They're ready to schedule the appointment. They're ready to hand you money for whatever it is that you're giving them. Okay. They've already made up their mind. A warm lead is interested in the idea. They're looking out, they're pricing stuff. They're gonna buy, but they're making the best decision. It might not necessarily be with you. Cold lead has absolutely no clue what it is that you do. They've never thought about doing what it is that you're offering or buying what it is that you're offering. Never even considered it. Okay. Completely cold lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, the job with a practice is to extract the warm and hot leads. Okay. And the way you do that is just to be easily found. That's it. All right. Those warm and hot leads are looking for this service, this product. They're looking for it. So make sure that when they're looking for it, they find you. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
With a telemed practice, that can be difficult because there is a lot of competition in the telemed space. There has to be tens of thousands of telemedicine practices. Okay. Maybe even more than that. I really don't know, but there's a ton of them. Okay. So, how do they find you? I mean, they're not going to go to Google and type in telemedicine thyroid clinic. If they do that, are you even going to come up? Probably not. There's probably a lot of other people that are doing the exact same thing. Okay. Like you are not unique. This is not a unique idea. There's probably a lot of people that are doing it. There are so many different kinds of telemedicine practices out there that
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty difficult nowadays to come up with a truly unique idea. It's still
Okay.
possible. I've talked to people on this podcast who come up with some pretty unique ideas with telemed. I'm like, go for it. Um, so you need to keep that in mind because it's just very hard for a warm or hot lead to find you if you're telemedicine only. If you have a
Okay.
physical location, okay, then it's much easier for people in that area to find you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can have $1 million practice easily and just be in one area. Okay. I mean, the majority of people I know who do $1 million plus a year are a brick and mortar hybrid practice. They see patients telemed. They see patients in person. They have a local establishment somewhere. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. So with this idea for the cash based practice, I think that you're going to really need to think outside the box here. Now, I think that in general, your foundational idea is solid. Concierge care, concierge kind
Okay.
of care for wealthier people, entrepreneurs, business owners, etc. People who are busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be a market for that. Okay. I mean, always. I mean, I'm even a patient at a concierge kind of thing because I don't want to fuck around with going to a doctor's office. I'm not going to do it. It's a waste of my time. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to the ophthalmologist a few weeks ago because I always had this elevated intraocular pressure thing, and I'm a glaucoma suspect or whatever. So I got to go see an ophthalmologist once a year. They tell me the same thing every year. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Um, but like, even just sitting in that office pissed me off. Just like, I hate sitting here. This is so outdated. But an ophthalmologist actually has to use tools and stuff, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
ophthalmologists will always have a physical practice. They just will. It's the kind of practice it is, right? Just like a
Right.
vascular surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyways, that kind of model does work. A concierge practice for wealthier individuals. Now that will work. Now,
Okay.
question is, what do you offer though? Okay. Concierge clinic for wealthy people can be anything, right? So I think that if you want to do it, you're skilled in primary care, you're skilled with diabetes management, you're gonna, it sounds like you're pretty comfortable with thyroid health already. Take some
Mm-hmm.
courses and learn more about that. Um, I think if you can become a very well-rounded provider and offer some services that these concierge people are looking for, they're not just looking for just basic primary care. Okay. Most of these people are also looking to be optimized. All right. A wealthy person, a busy entrepreneur, business owner kind of person, most of those people are, I'm not going to say they're all healthy because they're not, but most of them though are wanting to gain an edge. They're wanting to be optimized. So instead of just doing basic primary care, yeah, Joe, your blood pressure's elevated. Here's amlodipine 5 milligrams, followed up in 4 weeks, right? You need to do more than that. Uh, you need to do much more than that. So you need to be looking at patients from a more holistic standpoint and be treating the whole person for a lot of different things.
Okay.
Comprehensive lab work to identify any kind of hormone deficiencies, nutritional vitamin deficiencies, treating some basic mental health stuff, like doing a very holistic kind of thing. And the more integrative it is, the better, right? Integrating more alternative medicine stuff into a traditional model. That works well. Okay. There's always going to be a market for that. And you don't need a lot of patients because you can charge a little bit more money for something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Those
Hmm.
people would be willing to spend $250 a month or more potentially, okay, depending on what it is that you offer. So, if you want to do that, then I'd say that's going to be the smarter move. Concierge diabetes care, throw it out the window. I don't I think it'll flop. All right.
Okay.
Um Concierge thyroid health, it might do well, but it's a real roll of the dice. Okay. Like, you're gonna need to be a real thyroid expert, and you're gonna have to prove it to people by having
Mm.
lots of videos and stuff on your website, have a YouTube channel where you talk about this stuff in depth, that kind of thing. So anyways, I think more of a generalized thing might be a better move. I'm usually a very niche kind of, business, mentor basically. Like, the more niched it is, the better. But
Hmm.
in this case, I don't think so. I think that, unless you develop something really unique, it's going to be difficult. So I would say that if you're going to have a physical location in your area, then have a concierge, high ticket, um, practice basically for primary care or whatever, more holistic kind of wellness sort of a thing. Have it
Okay.
integrated into your business because really at the end of the day, all right, the model that you're gonna follow is that you're gonna have an insurance-based practice over here that's going in assisted living facilities, nursing homes, whatever, and it
Hmm.
will probably do okay because there's always demand for that. People are always getting older. There's no shortage of patients, nor will there ever be a shortage of patients, right? So that model is scalable and it is durable. Like, it is a long-term play and it should do well. So you have this business model and then you're going to be integrating whatever it is that you want into it, which ultimately doesn't really cost you anything to really do, right? Like, you
Hmm.
already have the main business created. Now, if you want to just integrate something else into it, it's as simple as just doing it. Create a new website, have a new Google business listing. Otherwise, it's all the same infrastructure, same bank accounts,
Hmm.
ARs, payment processors. It's all the same, right? Just offering a different service under a DBA underneath your business.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of what I think that's the way I would approach it. So, what are your
Okay. No, I think that's a good idea. I did have another idea for a cash base. So, it's weird. So, I was going to do weight loss 2 years ago, or whatever. I was going to do include it in my men's health practice. But lately, I just been, you know how everybody see how weight loss is just so saturated. You see the commercials and stuff like that. So I was in a nail salon getting my nails done. And my nail tech basically is on GLP-1, goes to this local clinic and just get an injection. I think he's on terzepatide, $55 every injection. No labs, no nothing. So I asked him, I said, are you getting blood work? Nobody's monitoring like your labs just to make sure, checking your A1C, nothing. He was like, no. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that's an idea. So what do you think about maybe doing like a cash-based GLP-1 monitoring for like anybody, not providing the GLP-1 medications, but just doing the monitoring? Because there's so many weight loss clinics in the area that just give out the injections and they don't do no type of blood work, no nothing. So what do you think about that?
I think there's definitely a need for it. Um, I think there's a need for it from a medical provider standpoint, from a healthcare standpoint, there's a need for it.
Mm-hmm.
But from a real person standpoint, is there a need for it? Probably not. These people don't give two flying. They just don't. They're they don't. They want to lose weight. They don't care. Most I mean, I hate to say this, but most people are, they just are. They just go in, pay $50, get a GLP-1 shot, woohoo, I'm losing weight. Don't care. Okay. Most people, this is something that I learned as I started getting older, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Most people literally lack the ability. They literally lack the ability to see more than 1 to 2 weeks in the future. They just lack the ability. They're
Mm-hmm.
idiots. Okay. 50% of the population are idiots. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Like, they cannot see more than 2 weeks in the future. They just can't. It's the reason why 60% of Americans could not cover a $1,000 emergency. To me, that blows my mind. That absolutely just blows my mind. Okay. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think those 60% of people that can't even cover $1,000 emergency, do you think they care what their A1C is? Like, do you? I don't. I don't think they
Continuous.
do.
It's sad. It's really, really sad. It's
It's it is sad. Like, but you or me cannot change it, and we never
Yep.
will. The only way you change that is nuking people's fertility. That's the only way you change that, and that's not going to happen. So we just have
Oh
to
my
deal with
God.
idiots. That just is what it is. Okay. So um, I agree with you. And I honestly think it's actually a pretty good idea. I've never heard anyone say that before. I've never heard anyone even bring that up. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think that those people are I don't think they're going to pay for it.
I
And if
know.
they are going to pay for it, you better just be giving them their GLP-1 as well. Right.
Yes.
So now I will say this. You can, if you want to do that, this is the way you'd
Mm-hmm.
have to do it. Okay.
Okay.
There is probably a percentage of people, okay, that are going to clinics like that or going to the barber shop or whatever and get their
Mm-hmm.
GLP-1 shot, okay? There's probably a percentage of those people who, if they knew that this was not the way it's supposed to be done, they would look elsewhere, okay? So it
Yeah.
could just be a complete lack of knowledge, information, and awareness, right? They just might not be aware this is how it's supposed to be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of intelligent, informed individual would know after doing a quick Google search. Just that lab work and some follow up is probably a good idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the 30 or 40% of people who have an IQ over, 105. Okay. Um, anyways, though, there's probably a small percentage of those people, though, that just happen to be going to a clinic like that aren't aware. But if they gained the awareness, then they would go somewhere else. Now, you want and actually do it the right way. If you want to do this the right way, if you want to do this, this is how you would do it. You would create content online talking about, if you were on a GLP-1 and you were doing it this way, you're a fool, basically. Okay. Talk about the dangers, talk about the risks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. You actually make like an actual content channel talking about the dangers of GLP-1s when you're not getting it done the right way. Okay. You basically are putting the awareness out in the public and then
Mm-hmm.
turn around and say, if you want it done the right way, holler at me. Right. And we'll do it the right way. That's probably going to be the only way you're going to do it. Okay. It just is. I mean, I think that any of those people can go to so many other places and get it done the right way. I mean, most clinics are doing it the right way. I mean, most providers are getting blood work and doing it the right way.
But then you
Most.
got some that just order it online. It's the road commercials and hers probably gonna have it if they don't already. So it's like there's no consistency when it comes to lab work. You can just go online, the app, and just right to your door. You look up a YouTube video on how to inject it,
Right.
boom, it's over. So
Correct.
a lot of people do get it online. They pay for it and it gets shipped to their house.
Yeah. Oh, I'm fully aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you, and it don't take a whole lot of searching to find it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is those people's business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my concern. It shouldn't be your concern. That is if those people want to take that kind of risk, and I don't even know if even a medical provider is even involved with those kind of businesses. It's probably some bro somewhere who's getting this from China and repackaging it up and throwing another new label on it and selling it. That's probably what's going on. Okay. You
Mm-hmm.
can do nothing about it, and nor can I. It will continue to happen. Okay. It is a
Mm-hmm.
straight up money grab from people who are, like I said, they're not medically trained. I have personally never talked to a nurse practitioner, anyways, that is just handing out GLP-1s without doing anything. Okay, I have never talked to one. Okay, um, but then again, most people that I talk to are through Elite NP, and I don't think idiots find Elite NP. I think it's mostly fairly informed, intelligent NPs. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's people doing it. I'm sure there's MDs and DOs that are just handing it out like candy. Sure there is, right? But those people, if something happens, they are screwed. There's no
Yeah.
talking your way out of that one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
none. You will be sued. They will win, and who knows? You might be criminally charged because that's happening now in some cases. Some
Yeah.
providers are
It's
getting
so many
criminally
side
charged.
effects.
Yeah,
Patients are having a lot of side effects from these medications. They
yeah,
are.
they are. They are.
Mhm.
But like I said, I just don't know what you could do about it, really. I mean, if you wanted to go out there and do a public campaign through YouTube and Instagram and YouTube and make videos and stuff like that, you certainly could, and you probably would gain a following, and you might actually get some business from it. But it's a roll the dice. You have no clue if that's going to work or not. And it's going to take a lot of work. Okay.
Mm.
Building a business based off of content like that it's a long, tedious game that takes a lot of work and consistency, and it pays off. I mean, it can pay off big time, but it takes a lot of work to get there in most cases, unless you just go viral, okay? Which does happen to some people. But
Mhm.
so, anyways, I'm just gonna let you know. I think it's a good idea. I just don't know if it would actually in reality work. I just
Okay.
I just people are dumb. I just don't think they're gonna pay for it. I mean, I think I said this in another podcast. Like my barber, I love the guy. He cuts a great hair. He cuts a great haircut. He just does. All right. He's a great guy to talk to. I bullshit with him for an hour and a half while he's cutting my hair and trimming my beard when I had one. But like he sells peptides out of his barber shop. You can get retatrutide from him. You can get GLP-1s. You can get
Jesus.
tesamorelin, BPC. I'm
Mhm.
like, dude, where are you getting this stuff, man? He's like, I got a great connection in China, man. It's all lab tested, third party tested. It's the real stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, bro. Is it really? Yeah. Okay, man.
Oh my
Like,
God. That
yeah,
is hard.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
craziness. Right.
Yeah. No, it's insane. It's
It's
insane.
craziness. Yeah. So
Hmm.
anyways, all right. I'd say leverage your license, leverage your
Okay.
skills, leverage your knowledge the right way, and do this the right way. And I think
Okay.
that a concierge kind of thing would require very little extra work on your end to do. Okay.
Okay.
I think you could do it very easily by just integrating it into to the assisted living practice, basically. It
Okay.
doesn't take anything extra from you. You create a new website, another Google business listing or the same address. And maybe and a different phone number, basically. Just
Okay.
get another phone app specifically just for that business. So that way, if someone calls that, to answer it that way. This is a concierge patient. This is an assisted living facility business, right?
Okay.
Just kind of separate it out, but it's all under legally though. It's still under the same entity. I don't think mixing those liabilities is anything to worry about. Okay,
Mhm.
I just don't. I mean,
Okay.
medical practice is a medical practice. I don't think it's necessary to split your liabilities out there, right? So, I mean, for example, like I wouldn't have a continuing education course business operating through my men's health clinic, right? But what you're doing, it's completely fine to have it under one entity. So you don't have to do anything like
Okay.
that, right? It's just a website, create the protocols, create what you're going to do, the workflows for it and stuff. It's just a time
Okay.
investment, really, not really much of a money investment. So,
Okay.
any questions with that?
Um, no, not in particular that one, but I do have a question. So, when I'm going into the facilities, how should I position myself? Should I position myself that I'm just a FNP specializing in diabetes or metabolic health? Because you already have primary providers that have established relationships in these facilities. So it's like it might be a little bit difficult for me to go in trying to offer primary care services as well. So that's kind of why I wanted to come in on a specialty type of do it that way. Because I don't want them to think, oh, I'm just going to come in. Oh, they want another nurse practitioner to come in. It's going to be another primary provider. I don't want to come in as a primary provider. I want to come in more as a specialist. Like I specialize in diabetes. So I can work. It'll be easier for me to gain patients that way because the family nurse practitioners that's already in there, they already have their patients and they know that I'm just coming in here to assist with diabetes, not to kind of overstep and steal their patients.
Yeah. No, okay. I mean, yeah, I think it's a valid concern. Um,
So I didn't know if I should position myself like, oh yeah, I'm a primary provider, or I just, oh no, I specialize in diabetes and like this is what I specialize in. You don't have to worry about me coming in here trying to provide primary services. I have a specialized diabetic program. So should I just position myself as I specialize in diabetes or oh no, I'm primary care, who have a diabetic program, just kind of have to the wording have to be on point when it comes to that because they already have providers in there for primary services.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
right. I mean, if they're already, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, if they already have people coming in providing primary care services, the
Mm-hmm.
last thing you want to do is walk in there and step on people's toes, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just going to cause problems. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think the appropriate way to do this would be to walk into it and say, "Listen, I specialize in geriatric assisted living facility and nursing home diabetes and metabolic care. My goal is
Okay.
to manage people's diabetes and manage their metabolic health, including weight loss, including hyperlipidemia, or whatever. If you want to time, if you want to go that far, you certainly can. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
would just leave it at that. I think the diabetes care
Okay.
and the weight loss, etc. Just say, I have, years, I got 7, 8 years of experience doing this. This is what I'm passionate about. I would love to come in and be able to provide these services to your
Mm-hmm.
residents. I can see any of them for anything. I can help them with weight loss, becoming metabolically healthy, optimizing their health, sort of a thing.
Okay.
I think if you approached it that way, then you should be okay because, I mean, really, what do you have to lose? if you go in there and you say, I provide primary care, oh, we already have primary care providers. Oh,
Mhm.
okay, well,
Mhm.
thanks. And then you leave, you know?
Yeah, that's what I don't wanna do.
Yeah. And that's probably what would happen
Mhm.
unless that you just happen to go somewhere and they just say, oh, yeah, actually, we would love for you to come in here because the primary care provider over here that we have in here is retiring, right? Like, and you know what? And I'm sure that probably would happen every once in a
Yeah.
while. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but but yeah, I'd say that you have a higher chances of success by going in there and saying the diabetes, metabolic, weight loss kind of spill. Um,
Okay.
and I believe Medicare is covering semaglutide and stuff now. I think I just read that
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of our patients, and it's crazy because we prescribe it in our practice, and it's more for not for weight loss, but we have a lot of obese patients who are diabetic, so it's kind of like a win-win for them. So we kind of target more on the diabetic side, but they look at it like, oh, it's to help lose weight, but we kind of just bill it under diabetes and stuff like that. So they are approving it.
Yeah.
They are approving it.
Yeah. Okay. So approach it that way. That's the way I would do it. All right.
Okay, perfect.
Um, and I think that develop an iron skin with this. All right.
Okay,
You're going to have some people who will tell you no. Okay. You just will. Um, and you'll have some people that will say yes. All right. The aggregate of the people who will say yes, okay, will be smaller than the people who say no, probably. Okay.
okay,
So you will need to make sure you develop a very solid, thick skin here. What happens with these sorts of things, with this kind of business where it's really dependent on developing a relationship with someone and getting them to give you business?
hmm
Think to yourself that this is sales at the end of the day. I mean, this is practically sales, right? You have to
hmm
sell yourself and your services to the director of nursing, whoever it is that you need to talk to, right? I would imagine probably the biggest point of contact with most of these facilities would be the director of nursing, I would imagine, right?
hmm
So you're selling yourself. So you just gotta develop a thick skin, okay? People are probably gonna say no. Some people will. Some will say yes. Okay. The thing is, you only need a couple people to say yes. And you're gonna have a pretty profitable, probably, pretty profitable little practice. All right.
Okay.
Um, so so yeah. And really be willing to expand out. Really be willing to drive 2-3 hours if you got to. Okay. Like really expand out. Get another license in another state if you have to, because I know New Jersey's pretty small. I mean, there's a lot of people there. I'm sure there's a lot of assisted living facilities and stuff. I'm sure you'd probably take you a while to just even exhaust just New Jersey alone. Um,
hmm
so, start there, obviously. And I would hit every single assisted living and nursing home facility in New Jersey.
Okay.
Every single one.
Okay.
I would make a
Okay.
huge list and I would mark them on a map. Okay. And I would draw little territories around it, name them whatever you want, and be like, okay, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna hit territory number 1 right now. And I'm gonna hit territory 1, and I'm gonna exhaust territory 1 before I move to territory 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. Okay. So do this strategically. Like, get a map. You can get a physical one if you got to, and just draw lines on it or whatever. Or just, use Google Maps or whatever. Have AI help you create one, all right?
Mm.
And then list out every single nursing home, pin it on that map, and then just create routes. Be like, okay, every single Monday, because I'm assuming you're still going to be working while you're getting this up and running, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever day that you have off, what day do you typically have off?
I work Monday through Friday, but my schedule, so we do it's like a self-scheduling. So how it is that I go into the facilities round and then I'm done. And I chart on my own time.
Right.
So some facilities, like when I go in the facilities, I might be in the facilities for like 2 hours in the
Right. So
morning. And then
some
it's like
days you're
I'm
there
done.
before lunch. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then what I would do then is be strategic here and be like, okay, twice a week. I'm going to start knocking out territory number one. Based on where I'm at, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to make sure I'm dressed up. I'm looking good. Make sure I have, some information, get a little pamphlet or a brochure made, something like that.
Okay.
Talk about the benefits of what it is that you do. All right. You need to talk about the benefits too for the facility itself. All right. You got to sell this to the facility. They're the
Okay.
gatekeepers, right?
Yeah.
It's not the patients in there. It's whoever the director of nursing is or whatever. They're the gatekeeper. So make it appealing to them, right? What's the benefit of this? Less hospitalizations, less
Mm-hmm.
ambulance calls, improved
Mm-hmm.
diet, less food they're eating, so it improves their budget on the dietary panel or whatever. Like, however you want to frame it. You really think about how this benefits them. That's what you sell them on. Of course, there's the patient benefit of it. You should mention that. I mean, no question about it. But also ensure that you're talking about the benefits to the facility itself as a business. This is the business owner to
Okay.
business owner thing, right? So do it that way. Do it
Okay.
strategically. And it might take you a while to hit every single facility. And you know what? You might not even need to. You could maybe just write out territory one or whatever. And you could get through halfway through territory one and be like, I'm too busy right now. I mean, I got 4 or 5 assisted living facilities that said yes. Like I'm too busy to reach out the other ones right now. I just can't do it. Like, that's a good problem to have. All right. Like if that's a problem that actually happens, fantastic. Okay. That means you can begin hiring people and really start scaling this thing. Okay. So,
Yeah.
um, now when to start it, when to start doing this, get credentialed. Okay. You just started this 3 to 6 months. Okay. Medicare, Medicaid, and some of these, Humanas and stuff. It might not take that long. All right. So just make sure you're credentialed with what 90% of these people have. And most it's gonna be Medicare, I'm assuming. And then, these
Mm-hmm.
secondary insurances like Humana or whatever.
Yeah.
Get credentialed with the majority of these. Once you are
Okay.
Medicare, Medicaid credentialed, and maybe like 2 or 3 commercial, Humana and United and Blue Cross or whatever, begin reaching out. Okay. I don't think I would spend a whole lot of time doing it before
Okay.
because these people you're talking with, you need to sell them on the idea then and there. And then you need to be able to deliver on that sooner than later. Not 3 months from now. Okay. Then they change their mind. Someone else comes in. Who knows? Right. It needs to be, I can start a week from now. I can come in a week from now if you want. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what I would do if I was you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the cash based thing, concierge thing, start that tomorrow if you want. Okay. Are you going to have an
What's a
office
good
space?
what's a good price for like the concierge, the package? Do you do more like a membership, like a monthly membership, or would you do like fee for service? Like
All right.
instead of tying them into something monthly, would you, because a lot of patients, like some of my diabetic patients, when we see them, we try to see them on a monthly basis, but some be like, oh, I'm okay, can I do every 2 months, or can I just do every 3 months? So we do have some patients that want to be seen every 3 months when they know they got to have blood work done. So would you still continue to charge them on a monthly basis, or would it just be per visit? How would that go?
And you definitely want to do it monthly.
Monthly. Okay.
What price you charge, I can't tell you that because I have no clue what you're going to be offering. Okay. It really depends on what it is that you're offering. That is what determines your pricing. All right. If it's just primary care, I'm available whenever you want. You can call or text me whenever you want for whatever need that you got. Okay, $100, 150, $200 a month. All right.
Okay. I was
Basically,
thinking that, but I was like, is that too low, or am I really going to charge them too much? It's like I always don't know whether if it's too low or too much. I don't want to sell myself short now, because if you give them that leverage,
right.
it's like, oh yeah,
Well,
I was wondering if my son has strep throat, and a lot of that going on. I get that now.
Yeah. I mean, you can have family packages and stuff, yeah, but just general on-call services, you never have to worry about a refill. You can holler at me anytime that you want for any needs that you got, okay? That's just basic direct primary care is what that is, right?
Okay.
Most people charge 75 to 120 bucks a month for that, okay? Now, you can make it a little bit more executive, high level, and not cap the amount of visits. A lot of DPC models will cap the amount of visits you have in a month, 2 or something like that, or, you know, 2 calls a month or whatever. Like, they cap it out a little bit. Most nurse
Okay.
practices do. Some not all, but, most of them do. So, you could have an unlimited thing. You can see me as many times as you want, call me whenever you want, text me whenever you want. I am here to serve you, basically, all right? For something like
Okay.
that, you're looking at higher end 250 bucks a month probably, okay?
Okay.
Now, how do you get that up? You just gotta increase the value of it, right? Me personally, I would not spend $250 a month on that. I just wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. I don't see the value in that. I just don't.
What's the most you'll spend?
For something like that, I'd spend probably about 100 bucks a month, okay?
Okay.
That's what I would do, all right? But I'm healthy. I don't really have a lot of problems. I would never call you. I would very rarely ever text you, okay? And I'm also coming in this a little bit biased. I'm a provider. If I want something, I just prescribe it. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, not all pharmacies, but a lot of pharmacies let you prescribe stuff for yourself if you want,
Hmm.
Like, I mean, so I'm coming in this a little bit biased, okay? So just
Yeah.
FYI, right? But
And then you got a lot of patients, not to cut you off, a lot of patients who are sick, who have multiple chronic
yeah,
illnesses, and you say to yourself, "Is $100 even enough?"
correct. Oh, there are some people that even $1,000 isn't enough. Like, get this person out of here.
The ones that have 13 allergies.
I'm allergic.
How you have allergy? I'm allergic to protonics and Tylenol
Uh,
and
no,
like.
I'm allergic to potassium. Okay, you are not going to be a patient of mine because you're crazy. No, you're not. If you're allergic to potassium, you'd be dead. Like, get out of here. You see stuff like that on an
Yeah.
allergy list. Those people are crazy. I would never accept them in my practice. I just simply would
Oh my.
not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm allergic to water. Oh yeah, are you? Okay, yeah. I've seen that before in the ER. Like, what the? Okay,
Oh my
yeah. All right.
gosh.
So, anyways, ultimately, what this comes down to is two
Okay.
things: what it is that you're willing to tolerate for what price, and number two is what's the value tied to it.
Okay.
So if you do this concierge based model, you have, let's just say this is just this general direct primary care that we were talking about, okay? Just this direct DPC stuff, all right? Most people charge 75 to $120 a month for that, okay? Most people do. If you want to bump it up and give it, and it's unlimited, cool, 200, 250. You want your entire family, a family of 4 with it involved, your kids, whatever, 500 bucks a month, okay?
Mhm.
High ticket, talk, you can call me, text me whenever you want, okay? You can do it that way, all right?
Okay.
Now, what it is that what is it are what are you willing to tolerate is something that I think that you're gonna have to really think about that. Me
Yeah.
personally, I mean, if I had 10 or 15 patients who were blowing up my phone all the time for 250 bucks a month, like, that would just drive me insane. It just wouldn't be
Yeah.
worth it to me, right?
Hmm.
So, if you stick to that, figure out what it's worth to you and what it's gonna potentially be worth to the patient, all right? Now, let's
Okay.
think beyond just direct primary care, just beyond just this primary care, right? Let's think
Okay.
about beyond this. Second point here is, can you beef it up by offering some additional things, right? Can you do a high-end longevity executive physical kind of thing? Can you integrate that into it? Can you Can you do HRT into it? Can you do thyroids? Can you do vitamin injections? Can you beef it up with other things, right? So,
Mhm.
I have a few executive type patients, all right? Just do. And I do like a very high-end executive physical on them, all right? Full body MRIs, the whole shebang. Like, after I'm done working them up, they have a completely clean bill of health. Or they don't, or we find something. Okay.
Mm.
Like, oh man, you have 80% occlusion in one of your coronaries. You probably need to go get that figured out. I'm not responsible for that. All right. Go see a cardiologist. So, anyways, though, like, so I have a few of these clients, and they pay me a lot of money a month. And it's pretty much wherever they want. Like, I mean, within reason, obviously, I'm not going to just give someone whatever they want, but like, there needs to be some kind of justification for it, right? But like
Mhm.
some of these guys that I have are on, they're on testosterone replacement therapy. That's included. I had one guy who was getting ready to have surgery who was in this program of mine. He was getting ready to have surgery. He was like, I want to recover fast. Can you help me? Yeah. Let's do some growth hormone optimization. Started him on that a month before. And then 2 months after, then 2 months post-op, the guy recovered so fast. His surgeon was like, I've never seen someone recover from a cervical fusion that fast before. Like,
Mm.
but guess
Oh,
what?
wow.
He paid for it. To him, it was worth the thousands of dollars. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. If I was gonna have back surgery or something, yeah, I would be bumping my growth hormone levels up and stuff beforehand. I just would, you know. This is how wealthy people cheat. Well, boo-hoo. That's just life, right? You
Mhm.
don't think Peyton Manning used growth hormone when he had his neck worked on? Bull, yes, he did. You know what I mean?
Mm.
These guys, like, yeah. So, anyways, this is just how the world works. All right. If you got the
Mhm.
resources for it, you should get it if you want. All right. So, be the vessel to provide that to this group of people. There is
Okay.
a group of people like that. Talking to an NP at our conference in San Diego back in October of the last year, 2025. Um, and she has a high-end concierge practice out of like Reno or Vegas or something like that. And it's like $2,500 a month is what these patients pay her. She basically was just like, I just kiss their ass.
Oh
Like
my god.
whatever they want.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean?
Jesus.
But then reason,
That's a lot.
obviously, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you want some oxycodone? Sure. I mean, you're not gonna do that. I mean, within reason, you give them kind of what they want, right? Within reason.
Mhm.
Make sure there's a necessity for it. Make sure you do blood work. Make sure you do an assessment, etc. But you just lower the barrier for these people. So
Okay.
think about that. So if you want to do it, think about what is it you want to offer these people to beef it up. If you want to do just basic concierge care, primary care, I think you could probably get away with $200 a month, 250 if you wanted.
Okay.
So
Okay.
really think about it.
Got it.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Do you
No.
are you more lost now or are you
No,
okay?
I got some direction
Okay.
on which way to go. It really kind of because I have so many different ideas, and it's like every idea that pop up in my head, I think I could do it. Like let's just do it. Let's just implement it. And like you said, some people it's just they can't see far. So sometimes it might just be a waste. It's just an idea, and some ideas just need to be that, just an idea.
It's yeah,
So
it's an idea, you just keep it an idea, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's just like the crazy thoughts that go through everyone's heads. They just need to
Mm-hmm.
stay a thought. You know what I mean? Like they just need to stay a thought. Like, yeah. It's just like your ideas, and they just need to stay an idea. Like it's just not gonna work in real life, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and I think it's hard, as a higher functioning individual, right? I mean,
Hmm.
obviously you're a higher functioning individual. You're an NP, you're working, you're starting a business. Like most people don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to separate yourself from that and put yourself into the shoes of your average person who's kind of an idiot who's just kind of floating through life, can't really see 2 weeks ahead. You know, it's
Mhm.
hard to put yourself in those shoes because you're not in those shoes, right? So yeah, so just just keep that in mind. And one thing too, I'll leave you with this is that don't get headlight syndrome, don't get squirrel syndrome as an entrepreneur. I mean,
Okay.
it will really deviate and take away your focus. It just will. I mean, if you start focusing on a bunch of random different things, you're never going to complete anything. Or if you do, it's never going to be to the full potential that you were capable of doing, right?
Mhm.
Um I heard this from someone, I forgot who it was. But like if you went into a white if you went into a room, a white room, solid white room, nothing but just white. You walked in. There was one black dot on the wall. What's the most interesting thing in that room? The the black dot,
The black dot, yeah.
right? Okay. That's the
Mhm.
most interesting thing in the room. So you keep your mind like that when it comes to a business.
Okay.
Everything else is noise. Everything else is whited out. Nothing matters except for that black dot. It's the most interesting thing. This one business idea that I have, I'm putting all my effort into this idea, focusing on this thing. All my energy is in this one thing. If you do that, the business will be launched to its full potential and it will dramatically increase the chances of success. All right. If it
Mhm.
fails, that's just part of life. That's part of having a business. You've experienced that once before. I've experienced it multiple times. Okay. You just never know, but you learn from the failure. Failure is just part
Mhm.
of it. You have to lose. Losing is not a bad thing. Winning or losing is not a bad thing or a good thing. All right. Sometimes you win and you don't even have to try. What do you win from that? Or what do you learn from that? Nothing. We've all done that before. Like, so you just win something, you win at something, you barely had to try. Do you really put much value into that? Not really, you know? But when you lose, it's sometimes it's a good thing because you learn from it. You're like, God, I
Yeah.
really this up. I did this wrong. I did that wrong. I did this wrong. Like, maybe I should learn from this.
Yeah.
You can't get refunds on some of the stuff that you do in the past, right? So you just
Mhm.
learn from it and you move on. And then when you try again and all those failures that you've had, everything that you failed at, the mistakes that you made, all of those things, once you do, and then once you learn from that, you start again and you win. How much more valuable now is that win? Tremendously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. So
Mhm.
something to keep in mind. Any other questions?
Yeah. So, okay. So, what mistakes do new practice owners make often, like the most? Something that I need to try to avoid. Like, what's the most mistakes like you'll see like a new practice owner make?
I would say that it's probably what I was talking about earlier. I would say that it's not making yourself findable, like making yourself findable. I think that's
Okay.
probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. It is one of the most common things, one of the most common mistakes, the problems that are in these podcasts. I mean, for people who've been listening to this podcast for a while, you're probably going to agree with me. How often do I say how important your Google business listing and stuff is in reviews? Like, it's so important. So I would say that that's what most people really, really make a bad mistake on. And that could fall into marketing, really. I don't think people take marketing very seriously when they really should. And it doesn't necessarily mean paid advertising on social media. It's marketing
Hmm.
falls in it's an incomplete umbrella. Even your Google business listing and reviews, that is a marketing activity, right?
Hmm.
So like it is. That's why I always say marketing is the number one function of your business. It just is. Like delivering your service is a very important thing, but if you can't deliver your service to someone, then does it even matter? It doesn't. right? So that's why you need to market. That's why it's the number one function of your business. So I'd say that's probably the biggest mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to do maybe like some direct mail marketing to like provide like podiatry, the vascular doctors, wound cares, because a lot of those specialties work with a lot of diabetic patients, and then you have a lot of patients who struggle. Like even when we refer out, you got some patients who just be too complicated. And you be like, okay, let somebody else at least help with something, and he's like, okay, go see endocrine, and then it takes for them months to get to see endocrine. So it's like, ugh, you have
So
that. So,
it's a good idea, but don't waste your money on that.
okay,
Instead, save yourself the money, be a lot more efficient, and just take a brochure and walk in. It's cheaper.
got it. Got it.
You'll be able to talk to someone if they're interested. All right. It's so much. Most direct mail, they're going to see it and they're going to throw in the trash. Okay. So just, you can make that part of your strategic community outreach strategy, going out to assisted
Okay.
facilities and stuff. You can make that part of it. Like, okay, I'm going to hit every podiatrist office on the way to the next assisted living facility. All right.
Okay.
This is just hustle work. This is hustling. It's just part of it. You just gotta hustle. Just hustle it. Throw it out there.
Okay.
Get out there. Get dressed up. Get dolled up. Go out there and just hustle it. That's just most business owners don't. This is another big mistake I see. Is they don't hustle. They just don't. They expect it to
Mm.
magically just work. And it doesn't magically just work. It just doesn't. Every business I started, even the Elite NP, every single business I started, successful business, I hustled at first. I just did. Businesses that I've started where I didn't hustle either didn't succeed or were super slow. So that's just part of it. And most people are not willing to do that. They think that just because they created the business, just because they created this LLC and they got an EMR, they got a nice office they went and decorated, blah, 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 right? That's going to magically just work now because you put all this work into it. No one gives about how much work you put into it. No one cares. No one cares. And so they don't hustle. They don't think they need to. So hustle. If you're willing to hustle, you're going to get business. But you just
Mm.
got to develop a thick skin because a lot of people are going
Yeah.
to say no. Most people will say no. Yeah. So I think I've said this example on another podcast. I don't remember how long ago it was. It's probably a while back. So I'll remind maybe new listeners. So when I started my medical cannabis clinic, okay, which I don't have anymore. I don't do medical cannabis anymore. It's just not worth it anymore because it's recreational now and no one really cares. But when I started my medical cannabis clinic back in 2018, I believe it was, um, I started it. I had a Google business listing. I got some phone calls and stuff. I was making a few bucks, right? I was like, man, I know there's potential here to make a lot more money. I just know there is. And so I was like, I'm going to call every single dispensary in the area. Okay. Every medical cannabis dispensary. I would call every single one. I started calling them and saying, hey, my name's Justin. I'm doing medical cannabis evaluations. I'd love to do medical cannabis evaluations for your customers. I only charge $100 for a new evaluation, $50 for a follow up, which was half the price anyone else was charging. Okay. Hustle. All right. And places I would call, we already have a doctor that comes in. Thanks. Hang up. Like they wouldn't even listen to me. All right. And so whatever. I just kept calling. I didn't care. Just kept calling. And then called someone. All right. And it just happened to be that this was the largest dispensary in the state. Okay. They had like 20 locations or something like that. And I called one in another city. And it just happened to be that the regional director was visiting that dispensary that day. Just happened to be. And
Mm.
and the girl on the phone was like, "Hey, Joe, or whatever his name was. There's this doctor on the phone who's doing medical cannabis evaluations. Can he come?" And he was like, "Hey, give me that phone." I started talking to him. He was like, Yeah, I would love for you to come do evaluations here and a couple of the other locations. I was like, okay. He's like, you want to grab a beer tomorrow night? I was like, yeah, sure. So I met the guy at this bar. Right? Like this guy's regional director of this dispensary, right? He's already doing shady. So we go to this bar, have a couple beers with this guy, and he's like, I like you, man. You're cool. You can start whenever you want. I was like, okay, cool. How about Thursday? He's like, yep, sounds good. Just show up. We'll have patients, we'll have patients waiting for you. I was like, okay, cool. So I did that. All right. I would go to 3 of their locations essentially. All right. One of them was like 2 hours away, but it was worth it. And
Mm.
I literally, I would make two, three, four, $5,000 in one day seeing patients. I just saw a ton of money. I mean, just a lot. And that that one phone call changed the entire trajectory of my life. Really did. When I think back on it. If I wouldn't have done that phone call, if I wouldn't have met that guy, if I wouldn't have got that business, there was no contract. It was just a handshake. This is medical cannabis. There's no contracts. You don't sue each other in this industry. You just don't. It's handshake deals. All right. You break the handshake, maybe they'll kick your. I don't know. It's just like that kind of world. Right. So like handshake deal. And if I wouldn't have done that, then I would not have had the capital to start my men's health clinic. I wouldn't have had the capital to
Mhm.
start the elite nurse practitioner. I wouldn't have had the capital to pay off my student loans. Like it literally changed the entire trajectory of my life. If I wouldn't have made that phone call, chances are probably 95% I would not be on this phone call with you right now because I probably never would have started the elite MB. Or if I would have, it wouldn't have been as successful as it would have been because I spent a ton of money marketing it. And the money I was
Wow.
making and the money I spent on it was through the money I was making through medical cannabis. I didn't pay myself $1 from medical cannabis. Not $1. I never wrote myself a check from medical cannabis
Mhm.
business. I never had money left over at the end of the year to pay myself a distribution. Never. Every dollar I made from my medical cannabis clinic, I reinvested it into other businesses. So you could say my entire business empire was built off of weed. It's not inaccurate, but whatever. It was legal, right? So the story, the whole point of this is that that one phone call literally changed my life and changed the lives of tens of thousands of other people, of all the
Mm.
MPs I've helped, everyone that I've helped. That one phone call did. 15-minute phone call. So
Hustle. That was a part of your hustle. Just keep calling.
that's right. It's part of the hustle.
Yeah.
So
All part of the hustle.
yeah, get out there
Yeah.
and just do it. You never know who you're going to talk to, and you never know what they need. You might be able to deliver exactly what they need at the exact right moment in time. You just
Mm.
don't know, and you never will know unless you actually get yourself out there and do it. It's just like dating, right? It's the exact same thing. So, all right.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, no.
I like to end the episode with you asking me a question. You have a personal question or curiosity for me?
I actually have two questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question: what mindset shifts helped you become successful? That's the first one.
I would say biggest mindset shift that helped me become successful was probably realizing that I was in complete control of really the trajectory of my life. Like realizing that no one was going to help me, realizing that no one owed me anything,
Mm.
realizing that this was not going to be given to me at all, realizing that I had to take action to do it myself because no one was going to do it. Before that, I always thought that for some reason I would just become rich, you know. I would work for urgent cares and ERs and I'd get raises and bonuses and the business owner would treat me right, blah blah blah. This is just delusional basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's probably one of the biggest mindset shifts. Like I am in control of my life and it is a waste of my time to think otherwise. So at this point in my life, I'm only 42 years old. I Whatever I can't control, I don't let it bother me. I don't think about the world really at all. I'm completely content in my little bubble. That's fine. That's completely fine with me. So
Yeah, no, I hear that.
politics,
Right.
what's going on, Minneapolis, ICE, I don't care.
Mm,
I can't change it, nor can I control it. I just whatever. I'm gonna focus on what I can control. And I think that's a healthy way to live.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, second question.
Okay. All right, my last question. Okay. What weakness in yourself did you have to overcome to become successful? Like, what was your weakness that you had to, like, okay, I got to get over it. I got to just, something that you dealt with that you had to just,
I would say probably one of the biggest weaknesses I had starting, this isn't a weakness now, but say one of the biggest weaknesses that I had was I had this fear of I had this fear of rejection. I had this fear of failure. I had this fear that I was never good enough. Like I had this fear that if I was to try and fail, it'd be the end of the world. Right.
mm,
Like if I didn't ask that girl out over there, it'd be the end of the world. If I didn't start this business over here, or if I started this business and it failed, I'd go bankrupt. Or if I did this and that over there, I'd get sued and lose my license. Like just this fear of utter despair, I guess. I don't really know any other way to really define it. You know, it was just this fear of of catastrophe. I suppose it was catastrophizing. I guess that's what you want to call it. That was a great weakness of mine. I would
mm,
catastrophize everything in my life. Everything. Like, I mean, literally everything. It was a catastrophe. It was always worst case scenario. It was always, there was just this anxiety behind it all. And uh I just got over it. I mean, I don't really know how I did. I just did. I think that once I started getting out more, out of my shell,
mm-hmm,
throughout my 30s, like I said, I'm 42 now. I'd say I started really getting out of my shell when I was about 32. Before that, I was pretty, I wouldn't say I was an anxious person, but there was definitely some anxiety there and I was catastrophizing and I never really came out of my shell. I was always more concerned about what people thought of me than I was of actually me. Right. And so
mm,
at 32, I started coming out of my shell. I stopped catastrophizing. I stopped living for others and living for me instead, and it was the best thing I ever did. I mean, so
mm.
yeah.
I think that's a weakness that I have. I'm more of an introvert. So that's why I just always been private, personal. That's why I never had social media. I don't know. I felt like I had my group of friends. That's how we were. I don't need to be on social media talking to people who I went to school with. We wasn't friends in school, so it's like no need for us to talk on social media. So it's like I never was that person. So that's kind of what my weakness is and my fear of not being as successful in this business because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that social media type of person where I can just get on and have these conversations and just talk to people and stuff like that. That's my major biggest weakness and my fear of why I'm hoping that would not be the reason why I don't be successful at this. That's my one thing that I'm fighting.
Well, a piece of advice for you then would be, um, realize that there are very, very successful people out there that are very introverted people. People you've never heard of, never know of, all right? Driving around in some Toyota Camry, and they're worth $100 million, and they're dressed up. They're wearing a T-shirt, you know? You'd have no idea.
Hmm.
Um, there are very, very introverted people. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm fairly introverted. It might not sound like it, but I am. I'm usually by myself most of the time. I just am.
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of friends in real life. I just don't. Never really have.
Hmm.
And yeah, and so um you are probably extroverted with things that matter to you. you will
Yeah.
speak up, right? When you're with your
Mhm.
patients, talking with them, you're
Mhm.
not going to be sitting there all quiet.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only time I'm like that. But other than that, I'm laid back, I'm chill.
Then there's nothing wrong with that. So I'd say my piece of advice for you is that be introverted when you need to reserve your energy. Because most introverted people need to reserve their energy for when they do the extroversion, right? So get your rest and reserve it. And the extroversion component of it should only be, you should only expend that energy when it actually really matters. And for you, this is going to be something that's going to be a little challenging, I think, is this hustle component of this
Mhm.
might be a little challenging. Now, you do not have to put yourself out there online, to potentially millions of people. All right. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
Um, but you are gonna have to be just you're gonna have to just kind of really force yourself out of that shell and let your personality shine and let the value that you're trying to propose, like let that come out when when you're speaking to this director of nursing or whatever. Like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It's like a muscle. It's like your brain, you know. If you work out a lot, the muscle grows, the muscle memory develops. If you read books on a regular basis and test your mind, you maintain your intellect, you maintain your wit. When you stop reading, your brain atrophies, right? And it's just like this. This is a skill that requires you to practice. And so the first dozen places you go to might be utter failures. You might be stuttering. You might be nervous, and that's fine. It will get better as long as you don't quit. Okay. Like, I would say that was one way I was able to kind of come out of my shell was just do it. Right. Now, at this
Mhm.
point in my life, I don't care. I will go talk to anyone. I don't care what you think of me. I don't. And that took a long time for me to get to. So for you, it probably will take a little while. How old are you?
39.
39. Okay, so you're a couple, yeah, so you're about 3 years younger, a couple years younger than me. Okay, so I would say that yeah, I would just say that you're at a very critical part in your life now where you're at a very critical place where you either start making some changes now and become the person you want to be. All right. Now is the time to do it because once you start getting into your 40s and as you get in your 50s, it's almost impossible at that point. Okay. So now would be the time to, if you want to try to get out of that and try to work on that some, now's the time to do it. Like maybe you starting this business and going out there and hustling a little bit and stuff will help you come out of that shell to where it matters for you, not entertaining people on an Instagram reel, but like
Mhm.
where it matters. Developing those skills now will serve you for the rest of your life. It just will. But it's hard. Taking that first step is the hardest part. So, yeah, I don't know if that was helpful or not.
No, that was that's what that was what I needed.
Okay.
I needed that. I definitely did.
All right.
I
Good.
needed that.
Well, this was a super long episode and full of a bunch of good stuff. So thank you for hopping on
Yeah,
here. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I wish you the best of luck. And if you ever want
Thank
to do a
you.
follow up, by all means, you have my email. Let me know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.